Hello everyone, I'm Fan. Today I'm going to share a steel and glass system. To build this system, we need to use the metal refinery. So let's first get to know the metal refinery building. First, we can see that the metal refinery generates 16 kDTU per second, and this is only the heat produced when the machine is running. In addition to this, the metal refinery also generates extra heat depending on the type of refined metal, and that part of the heat is absorbed by the coolant inside the building and then expelled. The metal refinery has a coolant capacity of 800 kilograms. When it runs, 400 kilograms of coolant are used. Once the job is complete, this 400 kilograms of coolant is directly heated up and then released. For the metal refinery to keep working continuously, you need enough coolant and an unblocked output. Even with that, the metal refinery can only operate once every 40 seconds. Since it needs to load 400 kilograms of coolant and the maximum pipe flow rate is 10 kilograms per second, the fastest it can be done is 40 seconds. Now let me introduce this system. There's nothing complicated about it. The main idea is to recycle the heat from these buildings and the coolant, then use that heat to turn water in the system into steam and run it through steam turbines to convert the heat into power, which helps reduce the electrical load. Starting with the metal refinery, we transfer the heat from its coolant through radiant liquid pipes into the steam chamber, then send the coolant back to the metal refinery for reuse. The glass forge produces molten glass, which comes out at nearly 2,000 degrees, and we can also recycle this part of the heat in the system. The Aquatuner is used to cool the steam turbine, releasing its heat into the system, which is still a form of heat recycling. Both of the system's outputs have a one-tile vacuum buffer to prevent heat exchange with the outside. Next, I'll show you the building steps. First, measure the outer frame. The size is 18 by 9. Then build the insulated tiles for the outer wall, along with the airflow tiles in the middle. Leave the tile at the entrance unbuilt for now, since we'll need to place a bottle emptier there later. Build a heavy watt joint plate at the top and place a tile on the other side. Build the bottle emptier, then set it to petroleum or crude oil. Here I'll use petroleum for the demonstration. After the bottom is filled with petroleum, remove the bottle emptier, place a tile there, and move the remaining petroleum above to empty it out. This way, the 2 vacuum spaces at the entrance are completed. Next, we lay down the heavy watt wire. If you're not familiar with the building layout, you can do it like I did by first running a line inside and then completing the wiring after the buildings are placed. Build a bottle emptier on the lower level to prepare for pouring in water. Build 2 gas pumps to pump the room into a vacuum. On the lower level, just pour in about 800 to 1,000 kilograms of water. Too much water will affect the startup of the system. Extend the wiring a bit since we'll be building an Aquatuner at this spot later. Then build all the pipes. Make sure to use insulated pipes where needed and thermal pipes where needed. Try not to use lead pipes since lead has a low melting point and could be melted. If you're not familiar with pipe placement, you can also build the pipes after the buildings are completed. I've already explained the piping for the Aquatuner and Steam Turbine in my previous video. If you are interested, then you can check it out. The glass forge and the steam turbine on the right can share one water output. The 2 outputs are not connected in parallel because the glass forge might block the flow when it outputs, causing a brief pause in operation. Then build the metal refinery and the glass forge. Both of these buildings must be made with ceramic. Then build a liquid reservoir extractor 1 tile away from the metal refinery's output to prepare for filling it with coolant. Make sure to leave 1 tile of space or the pipes will get blocked. Place the steam turbine and connect the water pipes. For the metal refinery's coolant, we can use petroleum or crude oil. Here, I'll use petroleum again. Place the Aquatuner. The materials must be made of steel. Then place a lamp to speed up duplicant's work. Use steel for the materials and connect it to a pressure sensor. Set it to output green when pressure is greater than 0, so the lamp only turns on after the water has become steam, preventing overheating and damage. For the Aquatuner's coolant, just use polluted water. Cut the power so the Aquatuner stops operating while filling it with coolant. Connect the power to the steam turbine. Then build the final remaining structures. Any building that could overheat must be made with steel. Once the coolant is filled, remove the extractor. Simply empty any excess petroleum. Connect the automation to the Aquatuner. Here, I've set it to activate above 15 degrees. Connect the power so it can start operating. Finally, build the rock crusher, using steel for the materials. Pour some petroleum under the steam turbine to enhance heat transfer. The 3 storage bins on the left hold metal ore, eggshells and fossils, coal and clay respectively. The storage bin on the right holds sand. Then assign some production tasks to get the water in the system to vaporize. You can set the loader at the entrance to select steel. This way, the steel will be dumped to cool down. Now the water has fully vaporized and the steam turbine has started working. Make sure the 2 vacuum tiles at the entrance are not broken, so the room will remain in a constant steam state. The produced glass can be left in the room to cool down and taken out when needed. If you don't have enough steel while building, you can temporarily use other materials. But the Aquatuner must be made from steel. If there isn't enough, wait until you've produced enough steel before constructing the Aquatuner. Lastly, I'll show the piping interface. The other interfaces aren't very interesting, so I'll skip those. Alright, that's all for this episode. If my video was helpful, consider giving me a subscribing. Thanks for watching, I'm Fan, and see you next time.